Hello out there, everybody. Manny here at Area 503. And I hope you all have been well since our last video. Today, we're going to be discussing some recent developments into the investigation of the USS Nimitz UFO incident of 2004. However, first, let's go ahead and recap what we already know about the case. Back in October of 2017, Tom Delong of Blink-182 formally announced the creation of To the Stars Academy. Delong claims to have assembled an elite team consisting of members from the CIA, DoD, and a former Skunkworks director. The Academy's aim is to build an electromagnetic vehicle that will travel instantaneously through space, air, and water, all by simply engineering the fabric of space-time. And of course, he passionately invited the whole world to invest in his project. It all sounds too good to be true, and it probably is. A YouTube channel by the name of UFOSEEKERS did an amazing investigative piece into To the Stars Academy, which I'll link to in the description below. After watching that video, I'm personally convinced that To the Stars Academy is just a way for Tom DeLong to get someone else to pay for his debt. Regardless of DeLong's involvement, To the Stars would ultimately end up yielding some of the most valuable UFO footage ever released. You see, one of the people affiliated with To the Stars Academy is Lou Elizondo. Mr. Elizondo was the former director of ATIP, a DoD-sponsored UFO investigation unit that operated from 2007 to 2012. Why is this important? You see, for years, Lou Elizondo had requested all forms of information from the Pentagon about UFO sightings by the military. At some point, I presume after he left ATIP, Elizondo requested the release of the video from the Nimitz Encounter, and it was approved by the Pentagon, either by mistake or on purpose. Who knows? I mean, Elizondo did work for years in counterintelligence, so anything is possible. The end result is that in December 2017, To the Stars Academy was able to release some amazing video of UFOs documented by US Navy pilots. Let me walk you through what happened. In early November 2004, the USS Nimitz and the USS Princeton were on maneuvers off the coast of San Diego. For several days, pilots from the Princeton reported seeing TicTac shaped UFOs with no visible means of propulsion, maneuvering in ways no human craft could, and that seemed to be playing a game of cat and mouse or keep away with the pilots. On November 14, 2004, the Princeton detected the UFOs on radar and contacted two fighters that were in the air and ordered them to investigate. When the fighters arrived at the location, they found no trace of the UFO. The Princeton radar room reported that the UFO had dropped from 28,000 feet to sea level in about a second. When the pilots looked down, they saw a large area of churning water about the size of a Boeing 737. It looked like something was hovering just below the water surface. A few seconds later, they saw a UFO hovering 50 feet above the water, moving erratically. It was tic-tac shaped and bright white, about 50 feet long, and had no windows, no exhaust, no wings, and no engines. As the pilots circled to descend and approach, the UFO rose, maintaining its distance, mirroring the plane's directions in opposite circles. And when the pilot cut in to make a steep approach, the UFO accelerated out of sight in seconds. It was gone. It had vanished. So the pilots returned to the Nimitz. En route, they were notified that the Princeton's radar room had detected the object 60 miles away seconds later. So a second team of planes was dispatched. These guys were loaded with advanced forward-looking infrared. When they arrived at the location, they spotted the UFO and recorded this video with the FLIR system. Take a look. So here they are at about 20,000 feet tracking this UFO. The targeting system seems to have no difficulty locking onto the object, and here the FLIR system is in hot mode, where hotter objects appear white and colder objects appear black. You can clearly see this extremely hot UFO in the center with a region of cold around it. Here, the weapon system operator switches into 2x zoom. And here, the WSO switches into TV mode, where the UFO looks black against the illuminated clouds, and you can distinctly see what all of the pilots have described as a TicTac shaped UFO. And it's just moving along, minding its own business, or so it appears. Here, the WSO changed back into infrared mode. Now right here, for some reason, the sensor brakes lock. Perhaps because the UFO makes this weird little jump as if it accelerated extremely fast a short distance. But then, the tracking sensor picks up the lock again. And this UFO is just tooling along, out for a Sunday drive. Right? Watch what this thing does right at the end. It just takes off, accelerating so fast, the sensor and the pilot lose it. And like that, he's gone. Now that you all know what the USS Nimitz UFO incident was all about, let's talk about what's happened since the release of this controversial video in December of 2017. There has been a lot of speculation as to the authenticity of this video, and Mr. Elizondo has maintained all along that he got permission from the Pentagon to release it. And so, for whatever reason, in March of 2018, the Pentagon was forced to admit that the video was indeed authentic and that this is a UFO. They even went so far as to release this brief assessment where they state that basically the UFO was not any form of known aircraft, that it was able to evade the radar because it moved faster than they could track it, that the UFO showed no visible signs of control surfaces like wings or rudders. The UFO also showed signs of advanced propulsion capabilities and could travel faster than any known aircraft with no visible signature. Oh yeah, did I mention that this thing can cloak and apparently operate underwater just as well as in the air? And the only thing the Pentagon can say is, yes, the video is real, no, it shouldn't have been released to the public. Whatever, dude.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. Peace. God bless.
Anyhow, that pretty much brings you up to speed on the saga of the USS Nimitz UFO incident of 2004. Let's talk about a recent article posted on the Popular Mechanics website, titled The Witnesses. This article is by far the single most comprehensive telling of the USS Nimitz UFO incident that I have found today. I will link to the full article below so you can read it for yourselves. One of the best parts of this article is that it features statements from the military personnel who were actually stationed on the Nimitz and the Princeton during the incident. So finally, we have some first-hand witness statements, including statements by one of the pilots who saw and attempted to engage with one of the UFOs. David Fravor, a U.S. Navy pilot, confirmed the accounts of initial UFO engagement as were reported. And other witnesses from the Princeton's CIC and radar room also confirmed the telling. There's also a new statement from an unnamed source who was also present. This new testimony verifies some of the previous statements made by witnesses about the events that occurred after the UFO sighting. One witness stated that shortly after the incident, a Black Hawk helicopter brought two unidentified officers on board wearing generic jumpsuits. These men collected the 8mm tapes, hard drives, and all data recordings of the incident, and they had ordered the wiping of the ship's combat engagement center and the optical drives with all of the ship's radio communications logs. Additionally, some of the witnesses claim that they were ordered to sign non-disclosure agreements about the incident. Well, what do y'all think about that? it would appear that some unnamed, high-ranking official in the Pentagon did their damned best to make sure this incident was never known to the public, even if they ultimately failed. It really makes me wonder why the government would have given Mr. Elizondo permission to release the same video that they had tried so hard to cover up. I found this link to an old article from 2015 that may answer that question for us. The article recounts the USS Nimitz UFO incident as we reported it. They also state that the video had been uploaded to YouTube several years before. However, sometime in 2015, an investigation into the incident was launched by an unknown government agency, and the video had been removed from YouTube at that time. This revelation casts serious doubts on Elizondo's credibility. In fact, it's enough to sway my opinion. I've never had a good feeling about Tom Delong, and after I watched the UFOSEEKERS video I linked to earlier, my mind was made up. This washed-up rocker is a f***ing hack. He's only in this for the money, most likely to pay for his little surf shack in Encinitas. However, regardless of the way I felt about DeLong, I didn't let that influence my opinion of Lou Elizondo. But now, after hearing that the video he claimed to bring to us was actually in the public view, possibly even during the time that he ran ATIP, this makes me believe that Lou Elizondo is some kind of plant or misinformation agent. Remember, before running ATIP, Elizondo had a long career in counterintelligence. So I feel like I just can't trust Lou as far as I can throw him. And he looks like a husky boy, so I doubt I could chuck him very far. Anyhow, the USS Nimitz UFO incident of 2004 remains one of the most credible UFO sightings ever. This spectacular footage and first-hand testimony is sure to be talked about for years to come. What do you all think that was that the Navy pilots encountered off the coast of San Diego back in 2004? Let me know in the comments section below, and while you were down there, check out some of the links to our source material. It's all down below in the description. Use those links to go out and read the information for yourself and make up your own mind. As for me, my mind is made up about the USS Nimitz, or TicTac UFO. There is no way that that thing was man-made. Human beings just simply do not have the technology to create some sort of drone or vehicle that can fly at thousands of miles per hour, can maneuver underwater as well as in the air effortlessly, that can accelerate so quickly, that can cloak or stealth, and that shows no visible signs of control or propulsion. The technology just doesn't exist on Earth yet. So where does it come from? Well guys, for now, that's all I have on the USS Nimitz or TicTac UFO. I'm sure we're going to revisit this one later, so stay tuned. As always, this has been Manny at Area 503. And I wish you all the best until we meet again. And I am out of here to continue my search for universal truth. And like that, he's gone.